A 73-year-old man died alone in his bedroom. No heart attack, no stroke, just one simple act, masturbation, something he'd done for decades. But that night, it became fatal. I'm Dr. James Ellison, a men's health specialist with over 60 years of experience helping older men maintain their vitality, circulation, and sexual confidence. I've worked with war veterans, retired executives, and proud grandfathers from every walk of life. And I'm here to share something most doctors never will. You've been told masturbation is safe, even healthy. And for most of your life, that was true. But after age 70, the rules change. What once felt routine can now quietly strain your heart, disrupt your blood flow, and slowly weaken your sexual and overall health. In this video, I'll uncover the 4 silent mistakes older men often make when masturbating, and the hidden consequences they don't see coming. More importantly, I'll show you how to avoid them and how to protect your energy, safety, and self-confidence starting today. And don't skip ahead, because mistake number 3 is the one almost every man makes, and it's also the one most likely to send you to the ER. Let's get started. Before we get into the 4 critical mistakes, make sure you've subscribed and turned on the bell so you never miss another health lesson designed especially for men in their 70s and beyond. And if this topic speaks to you, type 1 in the comments below. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me create content that truly serves you. I won't keep you waiting. Let's dive straight into the first of the 4 silent mistakes men over 70 often make during masturbation. Each one may seem small, even harmless, but over time they can quietly take a toll on your circulation, your confidence, and your quality of life. Let's start with mistake number 1. Mistake 1, masturbating. When you're physically weak or fatigued, at first glance it seems harmless. You've had a long day. Maybe you didn't sleep well, maybe you just finished yard work or walking around the block. You're tired, a bit sore, but you figure a little release might help you relax before bed. It feels like the natural thing to do, but here's the truth that no one ever tells you. Masturbation, even in private moments, still puts your body under physical stress. And when you're over 70, the impact of that stress is far greater than it used to be. As we age, our cardiovascular system works harder to maintain normal function. The heart doesn't pump quite as efficiently. The arteries lose some of their flexibility, and blood pressure is often less stable. When you're fatigued or your energy reserves are depleted, your system is already under strain. Add the increased heart rate, muscle tension, and blood flow demands that come with masturbation. And you may be placing your body in a risky situation without realizing it. The danger isn't just theoretical. I've worked with many older men who reported feeling light-aided, dizzy, or breathless after private moments. In some cases, their heart rate spiked suddenly. Others felt strange tightness in their chest or shortness of breath they hadn't experienced before. One man, 74 years old and otherwise in decent health, collapsed in his bathroom after masturbating late at night, following a long day of yard work. His body was already drained, and that final push, what should have been a moment of comfort, turned into an emergency. What most men don't realize is that during states of fatigue or dehydration, the body's ability to regulate blood pressure becomes unstable. This can lead to postural hypotension, where standing or sitting too quickly during or after climax causes a dangerous drop in blood pressure. Combined with the natural release of tension, this can cause fainting, falls, or even heart-related complications. The emotional toll is just as important to understand. Many older men are afraid to talk about this. Some feel embarrassed that something so simple could lead to complications. Others brush it off thinking it won't happen again, or I was just tired that day. But the real danger lies in repeating the behavior without recognizing the pattern. Over time, pushing your body when it's asking for rest chips away at your resilience. It increases your risk of cardiovascular strain, disrupts hormonal balance, and affects your ability to feel confident, connected, and in control. To avoid this, it's critical to choose moments of intimacy when your body feels nourished and ready, not when you're wiped out. Listen to your energy. Drink water, sit down, breathe. Let your body be in a place of ease, not exhaustion. This simple shift can protect your health, preserve your stamina, and make the experience more enjoyable and safe. Because the real goal isn't just satisfaction, it's longevity. And every small decision you make today impacts how strong, capable, and alive you'll feel tomorrow. But if that surprised you, wait until you hear the second mistake, because it has nothing to do with your body and everything to do with how your mind approaches the act. Mistake 2, rushing the act without mental or emotional presence. For many men over 70, masturbation becomes more of a routine than a moment of connection. It's done quickly, often in silence, hidden away, as if it's something to be ashamed of. Years of societal judgment, religious guilt, or the belief that older men shouldn't focus on intimacy can build a quiet wall of discomfort. So instead of embracing the act with mindfulness, many rush through it, treating it like a habit that needs to be finished rather than an experience that deserves attention. This rushed approach creates more harm than most realize. When you rush the act, your nervous system doesn't get the chance to fully relax. Instead, it stays in a state of mild stress, activating your body's fight-or-flight response. Your breathing becomes shallow, your muscles tense, your mind becomes distracted. All of this narrows your blood vessels, limits circulation, and puts unnecessary strain on your heart and prostate. The body interprets this tension as danger, not pleasure. Worse, the emotional disconnection can build over time. What was once a source of comfort and intimacy becomes a mechanical act with no sense of fulfillment. Men begin to report feeling numb, emotionally distant, or even irritated afterward. And because the act is rushed, the quality of blood flow to the penis is reduced, which over time can lead to difficulty maintaining erections, reduced sensitivity, and longer recovery times. It's not because of age alone. It's because the act lacks care and intention. Some men try to fix this by pushing harder or increasing stimulation, thinking they just need more intensity. But that only adds more stress to the body. What they truly need is to slow down, breathe deeply, and be fully present in the moment. When you allow yourself to experience pleasure with awareness, your nervous system relaxes, blood vessels open, circulation improves, your body responds with more ease, and your mind feels grounded rather than rushed. I've seen the difference this makes firsthand. Older men who adopt a slower, more mindful approach often report improved erection quality, better sleep, reduced anxiety, and a renewed sense of emotional connection with themselves. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. Your body still has the capacity for pleasure, but it needs your attention, not your pressure. So if you find yourself rushing, ask why. Are you trying to finish before someone notices? Are you ashamed? Are you treating yourself like you no longer deserve the full experience of intimacy just because you've aged? You deserve better than that. Your body and mind are still worthy of attention, care, and respect. Let me ask you, when was the last time you slowed down and truly allowed yourself to feel, not just physically, but emotionally? If it's been a while, maybe it's time to rediscover that space within yourself. And speaking of things we overlook, the next mistake might shock you. It's not about speed or shame. It's about where you're doing it and why that could put your safety at serious risk. Mistake 3, masturbating in dangerous positions. Most men never give it a second thought. After all, you've probably done it the same way for decades, standing in the shower, leaning over the sink, or perched at the edge of the bed. But here's the truth that most older men overlook. The position you choose during masturbation can silently put you at serious risk. At this stage of life, balance, blood pressure, and reaction time aren't what they used to be. Your muscles are weaker, your circulation is slower, and your ability to recover from a sudden movement or drop in pressure is far more limited. When you masturbate while standing, especially in slippery places like the bathroom, your body is in a vulnerable state. Blood flow shifts, your knees may lock, your heart rate increases, and if your blood pressure drops suddenly, as it often does after orgasm, you're at a real risk of fainting or falling. I've seen this happen far too many times. A man thinks he's fine, finishes the act, turns to step away, and collapses, sometimes with no warning at all. One case that stays with me was a 76-year-old gentleman who passed out in the shower and fractured his hip. He had no previous history of heart problems, no warning signs, but the combination of steam, standing, and post-orgasmic hypotension created the perfect storm. He was alone, and he laid there for nearly an hour before help arrived. That injury changed his life. His mobility never fully returned, and all of it began with a simple act in the wrong position. This isn't just about rare accidents. Even without dramatic falls, repeatedly masturbating in awkward or unsupported positions can place ongoing strain on your lower back, pelvic floor, and leg muscles. Over time, this contributes to discomfort, tightness, and even nerve compression, making future intimacy more painful or less effective. And yet, most men continue out of habit, not realizing how their physical posture during these moments is slowly working against them. Your body at this age needs stability, safety, and support. Sitting down in a comfortable, relaxed position isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Having your feet grounded, your back supported, and your environment secure reduces strain, enhances blood flow, and protects you from sudden injury. This one adjustment can mean the difference between a peaceful moment and a trip to the emergency room. And let's not forget the emotional aspect. A safe, intentional environment creates a sense of peace and comfort. You're no longer rushing or hiding. You're taking care of yourself in a way that reflects dignity, not danger. And that shift in mindset toward mindful self-respect can change everything about how you feel both physically and emotionally. So let me ask you, when was the last time you truly considered your safety during these private moments? Are you giving your body the support it needs? Or are you simply doing what you've always done and hoping nothing goes wrong? Because the next mistake isn't physical at all, it's deeper. It's about ignoring the quiet signs your body has been trying to send you for months, maybe even years, and missing them could cost you far more than you realize. Mistake 4, ignoring changes in sensation or function. As men age, subtle shifts in how their bodies respond often go unnoticed or worse, are ignored. You might notice a slight delay in arousal, a weaker erection than usual, or that reaching orgasm takes longer than it used to. Maybe the sensation isn't as intense, or you feel less satisfied afterward. For many older men, these changes feel like just another part of aging, something to quietly accept and move on from. But that mindset, ignoring or downplaying changes in sexual function, is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. These signs are not random. They're not just normal aging that you have to live with. More often than not, they are early warning signals from your body, indications of underlying issues like poor circulation, hormonal imbalance, nerve damage, or even early-stage prostate dysfunction. And the longer you ignore them, the greater the risk that those issues will worsen over time, sometimes silently and irreversibly. I've worked with hundreds of older men who came to me only after things had progressed too far. What started as a minor decrease in sensation led to full erectile dysfunction. What began as a little urinary hesitation turned into nightly disruptions, pelvic pain, or even a diagnosis of benign prostatic hyperplasia, or in rare cases, prostate cancer. And when I asked them when the symptoms began, they always had the same answer a while ago, but I thought it was just part of getting older. That assumption is dangerous. Yes, aging brings changes, but the body always speaks before it breaks down. It whispers with smaller signs long before it screams with major consequences. A decrease in sexual sensitivity, difficulty maintaining arousal, or changes in ejaculation patterns are not just physical inconveniences. They are messages. Your vascular system, nervous system, and endocrine system are all involved in sexual function. When something's off, it's a red flag that something else might be wrong. What makes this mistake even more damaging is the shame or embarrassment many men feel when they begin to notice these changes. Instead of seeking help or asking questions, they hide it. They pretend it's not happening. They withdraw. And in doing so, they not only delay possible treatment, they begin to lose confidence, intimacy, and the sense of connection with their own bodies. The good news is, this can be turned around when you pay attention to your body's signals. When you stop brushing things off as just aging, you can take early effective action. Whether it's a visit to a doctor who specializes in men's health, some basic blood work, or small changes in diet, exercise, or routine, you have far more control than you may think. Many conditions when caught early are manageable or even reversible, but only if you're willing to listen. Your body has carried you for 70, 75, maybe even 80 years. It deserves your attention, not just when something breaks, but when it first begins to whisper. Don't ignore what your body is trying to tell you, because often those quiet signals are your only warning. And now that you know the 4 most common mistakes men make after 70, it's time to ask the bigger question. How do you turn it all around? How do you protect your circulation, reclaim your confidence, and make the most of the years ahead? Let's bring it all together. Reclaiming intimacy, respecting your years. A new chapter begins now. And now that you've heard the truth clearly, calmly, and without sugarcoating, it's time to step back and ask yourself, what will you do with this knowledge? Because these weren't just 4 isolated mistakes. They were reflections of a deeper reality, one that many men over 70 are silently living every single day. A reality where intimacy becomes rushed, where private moments are taken for granted, where safety is overlooked, and where the subtle signals of the body are brushed aside in silence. But aging doesn't take your value. It doesn't make your needs less important. And it certainly doesn't mean you have to live disconnected from your own body or from the pleasure and confidence that once came easily. In fact, this stage of life requires more wisdom, not less. More presence, not less. More courage to do things differently, not out of fear, but out of care. You've seen what can happen when these mistakes are ignored. I've shared stories, real ones, of men just like you. Some who paid the price, others who turned things around. And if there's one message that ties all of this together, it's this. You still have control. You still have the ability to make choices that protect your heart, your circulation, your confidence, and your dignity. Think about how often you've told yourself, I'm fine, or it's nothing. Think about how easy it's been to repeat the same routine, masturbating while tired, rushing through the act, standing in unsafe positions, or ignoring the changes in sensation just because it's what you've always done. But what if doing what you've always done is exactly what's holding you back? What if that silent routine is quietly stripping away your strength, your balance, your intimacy? One moment at a time. That's not aging. That's avoidance. And it doesn't have to be your story. You deserve better. You deserve to feel safe in your own skin, to feel confident in your body, to experience connection and intimacy, even if it's just with yourself, in a way that uplifts, not depletes. That begins with awareness, with listening to your body, with choosing the right moment, the right mindset, and the right environment, with being willing to talk about what others are too embarrassed to admit. And yes, it means honoring your changing body, not by giving up, but by adapting in a way that reflects wisdom, not weakness. I want you to remember something deeply important. The goal was never just to survive to old age. It was to live fully in it. To move through this chapter, not in fear or silence, but with confidence, clarity, and respect for the life you've built and the body that's carried you through it. Every moment of self-intimacy can either add to that strength or quietly take from it. The choice always is yours. So take what you've learned here today. Let it challenge you. Let it shift your perspective. Let it guide you toward better habits, ones that nourish rather than deplete. Whether it's sitting down instead of standing, slowing down instead of rushing, or paying attention instead of brushing things off, these small shifts make a massive difference. And they do more than protect your body. They restore your peace of mind. This isn't about giving up pleasure. It's about reclaiming it on your terms, with awareness, with safety, with intention, and with the respect that your body, your years, and your experiences have earned. You're still here, still learning, still growing. And that in itself is a quiet victory. Let it count, let it lead the way forward. If this message spoke to you, even in a small way, I invite you to take one simple action today. Whether it's adjusting your routine, listening more closely to your body, or just acknowledging that your needs still matter, that first step is powerful. Type 1 in the comments. If you're ready to honor your health and your years with greater care. And if this video helped you, please consider subscribing and sharing it with a friend who might benefit too. Your story, your voice, and your choices matter not just to you, but to others walking a similar path. Together, we can break the silence around aging, intimacy, and strength. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for choosing to live these years with wisdom and intention. You're not alone, and your best days can still be ahead.